Imagine this: what if everything in your life could change in just one night, at one table in a small restaurant? Stay until the very end, because this story will touch your heart in ways you don't expect. And if you love stories that bring tears, smiles, and hope, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next one. She was nervous that evening, standing outside the restaurant door with only $5 folded tightly in her hand. Maria had never been on a blind date before, but her friend insisted she give it a try. Her dress was simple, her shoes a little worn, yet her heart was full of hope. She didn't want much, just someone who would see her for who she was, not for what she didn't have. But as she stepped inside and saw the elegant tables, the menus with prices she couldn't dream of paying, her stomach tightened with shame. How could she afford even a drink here? She sat quietly at the table reserved for her date, waiting, eyes darting nervously to the door. At the next table sat Daniel, a man in a crisp suit, his little daughter's giggles lighting up the air. He was a CEO, successful, admired, but tonight he was just a father, trying to make his little girl smile over pasta and breadsticks. He noticed Maria almost immediately. The way she fidgeted with her napkin, the way her eyes carried both hope and fear, it pulled something deep in him. Her date finally arrived, but it was nothing like she expected. A tall man in flashy clothes walked in, glanced at her, and scoffed. "You're Maria?" he asked, as if already disappointed. She nodded shyly. He sat down, checked his phone more than he looked at her, and when the waiter came, he ordered without even asking her what she wanted. Maria whispered for a glass of water, clutching that $5 bill in her palm. Daniel watched quietly, his heart tightening. As the evening went on, the man grew impatient. He complained about the food, rolled his eyes at Maria's simple answers, and finally leaned back in his chair. "You know what," he said coldly, "this isn't working. I need someone who can at least keep up with my lifestyle." He threw a few bills on the table and walked out, leaving Maria sitting there, cheeks burning, eyes wet. Maria's $5 lay useless on the table, her dream of a night filled with kindness shattered. She stood to leave, but then Daniel's daughter tugged at his sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, why is that lady crying?" Daniel looked at Maria again, this time unable to stay silent. He stood, walked over, and with the gentlest voice asked, "Are you okay?" Maria tried to smile, brushing away her tears, but the crack in her voice betrayed her. "I'm fine, thank you," she whispered, ready to rush out the door. But Daniel stopped her softly. "Sit with us. Please. No one should eat alone tonight." At first, she resisted, embarrassed, but his daughter patted the chair beside her with such innocence that Maria's heart softened. Slowly, she sat down. What began as an awkward moment soon turned into laughter and warmth. His daughter asked her questions about her favorite colors, her dreams, and Maria answered with honesty, her shy smile growing each time. Daniel watched her with quiet admiration, her kindness, her humility, the way she made his daughter laugh as if they'd known each other forever. For the first time in years, Maria felt seen. Not for her lack of wealth, not for her worn dress, but for her heart. And for Daniel, a man who had spent so long buried in boardrooms and numbers, it was a reminder of what truly mattered. Connection, love, and kindness. By the end of the night, Maria forgot about the $5 in her hand. Daniel insisted on walking her home, his daughter skipping happily between them. And when they reached her small apartment, Maria thanked him with tears in her eyes. She expected that to be the end, just a kind stranger's gesture. But Daniel smiled and said, "This doesn't feel like an ending. Maybe just a beginning." Weeks turned into months. Maria and Daniel saw more of each other, not in fancy restaurants, but in small parks, at ice cream stands, in places where laughter was free. Slowly, Maria realized that love had found her in the most unexpected way. And Daniel learned that sometimes the richest people aren't the ones with money in their wallets, but with love in their hearts. Their story became one of healing, of hope, and of unexpected blessings. Maria's $5 never bought her a meal that night, but it brought her to the table where her entire life changed. And Daniel, once a lonely single dad, found not just a partner, but a woman who filled both his and his daughter's lives with warmth. So if you've ever felt like you have too little, like the world doesn't see you, remember Maria. Sometimes, what seems like the smallest step, even walking into a restaurant with just $5, can lead you to the greatest chapter of your life. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because every story we share here carries a message of hope, reminding us all that miracles often happen when we least expect them. Daniel wasn't talking about business, mergers, or numbers. He was talking about childhood memories, about how he used to sit by this very pond when he was a boy, dreaming of a future he never imagined would feel so lonely at the top. Maria listened quietly, her eyes soft, her presence calming. He wasn't used to being heard without judgment, without hidden motives. That afternoon, under the gentle breeze, some tea.